Hello book lovers, and welcome to Nat Cat's Bookish Cafe. So this is the first YouTube video that I've ever made, so I am completely new here. I'm not moving from another channel or anything, so I appreciate any patience with my learning curve as I try to figure out kind of what I'm gonna do here in this new space I'm creating for myself. So I figured a good place to start with this channel would be to do the Newbie Book Tag or Newbie Booktube Tag. I've seen it floating around a little bit, so I went ahead and grabbed those questions, and we'll go ahead and be answering those for you today. So before I jump in, I am still recovering a little bit from COVID, so I apologize if my voice sounds a little rough. I'm mostly recovered, so it should be fine, but if I get a little croaky at some point, my throat might not be 100% recovered yet. Alright, so the first question is, why did you start this channel? So I started watching BookTube early 2020, around when COVID hit. Obviously I wasn't going out and doing as much, not that I ever was. I'm definitely a homebody, but I had a bit more free time, so I started exploring the YouTube channels a little bit more, or the BookTube. I don't watch any other YouTube, to be honest, because I had started by looking for recommendations for specific books, like, oh, if you like this book, read this book. Then that's kind of how I found this community, and I've been a part of it ever since, and I've just really been enjoying my time there. I also currently have a small bookstagram on Instagram that I started about a year ago now. I think I started it in June of 2020, and I've been having a good time with that, but I found that I wanted to talk about books a little bit more than what I was able to do on Instagram, so I thought I'd go ahead and transition over to YouTube. Alright, so the next question is kind of a hard one, and that's kind of like, what is something unique and fun that you can bring to Bookstagram, or not Bookstagram, this is a BookTube, and it's definitely, there's a lot of people out there already, so it's kind of hard to stand out in any sort of way. All I can really say is, I'm trying to read relatively diversely, so you're gonna get a lot of different genres here on this channel. I also like to think that I have a relatively good sense of humor. I'm definitely a little bit quiet, but hopefully once I get a little bit more comfortable here on that platform, you'll see that a little bit more. And also I am hoping to do a TBR game eventually. It probably won't happen until August, just because I'm taking part in the magical readathon, and I'm a little behind on that because I started it, I think I just started it in May, so I'm just a few months behind because I think it actually started way back in September, but yeah, hopefully in August I will go ahead and start a fun little TBR game, just because that is one of my favorite things to watch, so I definitely wanted to do one of those as well. So question number 3 is, what are you looking forward to the most that you would get from this channel? I'm obviously just trying to expand my friend group of people that talk about books. I of course have met some people through Instagram, which has been wonderful, and also some people through YouTube as well, just in like the comment sections, but of course I'm looking to grow on that even more. I don't have any friends here in the now or in the real world in my area that read, so it would be really great to have someone to talk about all my books with. Alright, so question number 4 is, why do you love reading? I have read for the majority of my life. My mother is a relatively avid reader as well, so reading has always been a part of my life. I do think I had, a period kind of like in high school and when I was getting my associate's degree where I didn't read as much, and I'm definitely reading more these days than I probably did in the past, but I have always enjoyed living in like a fantasy world. I have a very active imagination, so I really enjoy being able to explore worlds, cultures, and just individual people outside of my own small circle here in the great state of Washington. I also enjoy the progress that I feel that I'm making when I'm reading, especially these last couple of years where I track my reading more. It just makes me feel really productive to finish books, update my stats sheets, to make a TBR and to complete the TBR, make annual goals for it and to complete those. So I find a lot of satisfaction in doing that. I, of course, also just find the experience of reading relatively relaxing. I am currently a student at the University of Washington. I'm doing it online and I'm going to start my final quarter here at the end of June. I'm only taking 2 classes just to finish up my bachelor's degree. So hopefully, I'll still have plenty of time to film and post things on YouTube. And I also am a full-time worker for the state. So I'm working from home. I've been teleworking since March of 2020, which is actually really convenient when you're a college student because it gives you a little bit of extra study time. So the next question was, what series or book got you into reading? As I said, I have been reading for the majority of my life. But I did have a little bit of a lull for a period, and I think, of course, my terrible memory, I can't remember exactly what it is, but I often say that the Infernal Devices series was one of the series that really got me back into reading. I have not read any other what's her name? Cassandra Clare, there we go. I haven't read any other Cassandra Clare books. I know I started her, is it the Mortal Instruments series? And I got maybe 3 books into it, but I just was not able to complete it, and so I haven't picked up anything else. But I did absolutely love this series, and it definitely got me a bit more into reading. Another book was The Song of Achilles, which I'm actually rereading right now and tabbing. This was one of the first queer books that I ever read, and it really got me into reading queer books. So that also really increased my passion for reading, just reading more diversely, and this was kind of the book that went ahead and started that all, an incredible place to start, set the bar really high. So the next question is, what would you ask your favorite booktuber? So I have a few favorite booktubers. I watch a few of them, and let me see, what kind of questions would I ask them? One, how do they find the time? I mean, obviously you hear a lot that YouTube is almost like a second job, because I have school, which is already like a second job. I'm probably not gonna put in as much time, at least, in the next few months while I'm still in school, as other people might put into it, but obviously I do want to put out a pretty consistent amount of content, maybe like once a week. So just making sure, like, how do you schedule your time? When do you film your videos? I'm probably gonna be filming, a couple videos today, so if you see the same makeup look but I'm wearing a different shirt, I'm not putting on makeup every day, okay? When you work at home, you don't do that anymore. So yeah, and just where do you get inspiration for the content that you create? Obviously, when you're putting out so many videos, you're gonna run out of ideas. I have a little list, but I'm probably gonna work through that pretty quickly in the next few months. So just, you know, where do you get your inspiration? And also, honestly, like, what videos are the most fun to make? Because obviously this is supposed to be fun, so if there's some videos that are, you know, a really good time, I know I personally really enjoy watching vlogs, but I don't know how soon I'll start making them, because I'm a little nervous about pasting together a coherent group of clippings. You know, don't just want it, you know, oh, here's me walking outside, here's me reading, here's my cooking, and, you know, so just probably me watching more vlogs, because right now I honestly listen to them a lot while I'm working, but also, you know, me just going in and watching them to kind of see what people are doing there. So the next question is, what challenges are going to be the hardest for you to overcome with this new channel? I'm still relatively new at editing. I have edited one video that was kind of like a test video, and it went relatively well. It was very difficult for me to get to that point. Had to try out a few systems, because obviously I don't want to pay for it. I'm like, well, give me a free system. So I found Shortcut, and that's what I'm using, and, you know, right now it's working really well for me, and I'm just using YouTube a lot. Like, how do you do this, how do you do this, how do you do this, because I honestly don't know anything about it, but I've already learned quite a lot, so I'm hoping that I continue to learn, but for now it's going to be a relatively slowish process, so that might mean that I have less videos because I have less time to sit down and edit them, pretty much. Question number 8 is a question I already answered a couple times, and that's when did you start reading? So I've been reading for the majority of my life, but in the last couple years, probably towards the end of 2019, is when I got Goodreads. And so that's when my reading really took off, because I was able to track what I was reading a little bit better, and also I was able to create a TBR list, which made me realize that I had a lot of books that I wanted to read, and I needed to start reading faster now. Alright, second to last question is, where do you read? I kind of read usually in my room, in my bed. I unfortunately don't have like a reading area. I had a reading corner for like a few months, but then I decided to go back to school, so I threw my little circular chair, I don't know what they're called, up into the attic and got a desk. So hopefully once I'm done with school, I'll be able to create a little cozy reading corner once again. In the summertime, I'm very lucky to live with my parents, who have a beautiful backyard. To them while I'm just walking around the neighborhood, and I do live somewhat close to our capital, Capitol Lake, so sometimes if the weather is nice, I will go down there and just do a lap around there while I listen to an audiobook. Alright, and the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? I really like reading romance, so you'll see a lot of the books that I read have at least some sort of romance in them. I, of course, don't only read romance. I really enjoy fantasy. I've been getting more into sci-fi, as well as like thrillers this last year or so, so you might be seeing more books like that that I'm reading. I do read some literary fiction. I think now that it's summer, I might pick up a little bit more of that, but I don't as much. I definitely read more adult books. I do have, you know, some YA books here, and every once in a while I will read them, but it's definitely more common for me to read adult books. I occasionally get Kindle Unlimited, and on there I'm also, you know, reading mostly romance, so you're gonna see me talking about books that are 18 and over, so if you prefer clean romances, you know. I don't like those as much. I mean, every once in a while I might accidentally pick up one, but I don't actively seek them out. So if you don't like romances with explicit scenes, which I do prefer, that's just something you should know before getting into my channel. It's not that it's all I'm reading, but when it does come to romance, that might be something that I discuss openly here on the channel. Alright guys, so that is the booktube newbie tag. I hope you got to learn a little bit about me. Of course, you're going to learn more about me as I post more videos. I'm going to try and post some videos over the next couple weeks or so, just letting you know a little bit more about my reading taste, what I do and what I don't like. And yeah, then we'll just go from there. I'm very excited to be here. You know, this is something that I haven't honestly been thinking about doing for a long time. This is almost somewhat spontaneous. I'm kind of a person who, when it comes to spontaneous things, I just kind of do it in the moment. I mean, like both of my tattoos, it was walk in, you know. I didn't make an appointment. I was just like, okay, we're gonna do it, because if we're not gonna do it now, we're never gonna do it. Signing up for a college trip that I took that was like a month long down to Colombia and Ecuador, that was pretty spontaneous, and now this as well. So I guess it's always worked out really well for me. So hopefully that's the case with this YouTube channel. I hope that you guys will subscribe so that you can see more from me and I can see more from you. All right, bye.